Hey everyone, this is Driving with Joe, and today we're going to talk about serialization. So what is serialization, what is it useful, and what are some of the main applications of it? Well, let's talk about serialization and just what it is in general. Serialization is taking some programming construct or some programming object and then expressing that object in a way that we can save it somewhere else. For example, let's say you're playing a video game, a Steam game, and you want to save your progress. Somehow, the save file needs to be created, and the save file needs to be populated with data that represents the state of the world. By the world, I mean the game world that you're playing in. Thus, all these different abstract ideas of location, items, health, whatnot, all the programming objects that represent these ideas have to somehow be expressible in a way that we can save that information to a file, and not only save that information to a file, but be able to retrieve it later and also understand it. There are two parts to serialization. You have the conversion from programming object to, let's say, string. It's not necessarily a string form. It could be raw binary, but just for the sake of clarification and clarity, we'll say string. So you have the process of going from programming object to string, and that's called serialization. And then you have the opposite direction whenever you're going from the string to the programming object, and that is deserialization. There are different schemes for serialization, depending on what kind of data that you're messing with. For save states for games, it might be more beneficial to use a binary representation, especially because the languages you'll be using at that point in time, performance will be critical due to the constraints of games themselves and the nature of them. So it's not too uncommon to have to read in binary data from a save file according to some specification. For example, you could say the first 8 bits of this file consist of the health, and that should be represented as an unsigned integer in C, something like that. But the basic idea is you take your group of programming objects and you represent them in a way where you can retrieve it later and have the exact same data that you had whenever you were dealing with the programming object. It's just a different representation of the same data, but it takes a conversion step. And the reason why is because we can't directly represent the idea of, let's say, a dictionary in Python or an array in PHP. We can't directly represent those ideas in a file or on paper or in a string. We need some sort of process that says, here's what we have in the programming world, and here's what it looks like in the string or the file world. That way, we can actually save that data somewhere. So that's a summary of serialization and the concept behind it. One of the major applications in the web development world is with JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's the primary way for web services to communicate with each other. Essentially, the languages used in web development primarily, such as Python, Ruby, PHP, JavaScript, they all have built-in mechanisms or built-in libraries that make it easy to convert from some data type in that language to JSON. JSON is just a serialization standard that represents key value pairs. And why that's useful is because it allows scripts that are written in one language to communicate with scripts written in another without the need for everyone to be on the same platform. All that has to happen is that the language has to be able to understand JSON and also be able to produce JSON. And if those requirements are met, then languages and the processes using those languages can communicate with each other. In this way, the syntaxes of the language don't have to be the same as long as it maps to the JSON serialization correctly. For For example, the syntax for a PHP array looks different than the syntax for a Python dictionary, but they represent the same idea of a key value record store. And JSON has a specific way to represent that idea as well. So as long as Python and PHP successfully translate their idioms into the JSON world, the different processes using JSON can actually consume the JSON, bring that into their own programming world, and use the data that was serialized previously by the deserialization process. Okay, well, I hope that was useful.